Hey, what's up, you guys? Mark70 here, coming at you guys with a 3D print design review overview. Let's call it an overview. It's not a review because this isn't something that somebody else made. This is something that I made. This is my 3D printed Spider-Verse portals background display. I've been working on this project for about 3 to 4 months at this point, and I finally reached a point where I'm comfortable, and it prints right off the bed, and you can assemble it almost immediately. In this video, I'm going to go over how to use it once you've printed one out, or if you purchase one, because I will be selling a few of these on my Mercari store. And like I said, I'll post the file on Cults 3D for a very low price, because I'm not looking for anything crazy on something like this. It's not that hard to make. It's just getting the tolerances right, the measurements, and scaling it out properly, and just getting all the measurements right is what took the longest part. But designing it was fairly simple. I mean, the Spider-Verse portals are just simple hexagons. So there you go, secret revealed. If you want to make your own Spider-Verse portals, build yourself some really nice hexagons, and there you go, Spider-Verse portals complete. But in the meantime, this design that I printed, it's modular. You can adjust it around. It's compatible with 3mm figure stands, and in this case I use Figma stands. I've got a Figma stand from who knows where, and funny enough, the Figma Samus comes with a hexagon Figma stand, which I thought, you know what, that's going to be cool to use. All hexagons everywhere. This is a hexagon too, technically, but it's just oddly proportioned. Anyways, let me go ahead and take this off of the, well, before I take it off of the rotating base, you can see there's two ways to display this. You're going to get a lot of options for it. You get the extended display, which is basically like a tunnel almost, and then you get the more collapsed display, which is just kind of like a wall that stands behind the character. So there's definitely a lot of customizing available with this. You can definitely adjust it as needed, and you can go for some very diverse portal rings, because they're always moving, so you want them to you kind of want them to have that moving effect. I mean, sometimes you don't want them to look like they're moving so much. Sometimes you just want like a nice flat wall behind your character, so you could always do that too. Anyways, let's take it off of the rotating base and go over the portal bit by bit so you can see how it works. Okay, so this is everything that it comes with, minus the Figma stand. If you I'm going to be selling a few of these on Mercari. If you buy one off of me, I will include a Figma stand while supplies last. I've got a couple extras that I have no problem giving away. But if you print this out yourself, obviously you're going to need your own Figma stand. Okay, so let's go over it. Each ring has a 3mm port. There we go. The front of the rings, the back of the ring. Now they've got three 3mm ports, one at a 30-degree rotation and one at a 20-degree rotation. That way, when you're using it on one of the stationary stands, you can go ahead and get some angles out. I didn't put them everywhere because it kills the illusion. I mean, you can't see through them that well right now, but if you put a light behind them, that does glow. And these are transparent plastic, so you can kind of see through them once you put a light behind them. You want to be able to see through to it. It'll look better in the pictures because you'll be able to see the light shining through behind it. Anyways, so yeah, they have 3 ports in the back. They're all compatible. So if you just wanted to use 1 or 2 rings, you can just go ahead and port them into your Figma stand, and there you go. You have your small one. Obviously, it looks better with the bigger ones, but go ahead. Let me see. Here's the big one. You can see much better through that one. I'll see if I can get a light behind these in a minute. At the end, I have a slideshow with pictures so you can see them glowing properly. Does it look really nice with light shining through them? I made these out of a clear PLA. I forget which one, but see if I can find it later on. There you go. It's a little loose on this stand. The stand's a little old, so it still holds pretty well, but you get the idea. And they're all 3mm compatible. And that's the point. If you just want to use one ring, one Figma stand, there you go. But obviously it looks better when you use multiples. Now, I did say there's two mounting clips, I guess is what I should call them, or stand adapters. I don't know what to call them yet. The small rings are very tight, so you can actually cone them together a little bit. Anyways, if you look at the back, you can see the infill detail. All those lines you see, these are hollow. And that infill detail is what gives it the Spider-Verse portal look. When light shines through these, those lines, they glow, and they come out really nice through the front end. I'll show them off later. But just from the back, you can see that tech detail. And you can see here around the ports, if I put ports all over the portal, you'd see all these weird patterns and like holes everywhere. It'd look pretty awkward. One of my original prototypes actually has portholes in various areas, and with the light shining through it, I didn't like it. So I just offered a 20-degree rotation and a 30-degree rotation, and you can get, pretty good displays. Almost looks like a full rotation. Almost. Because if you think about it, a hexagon rotating, it's really it right there. Anyways, okay, so let's do that there. Now I'll go over the first one. This is the flat display adapter, or flat stand adapter. Now, each stand adapter comes with multiple pegs. These are the smaller ones. I will be bagging up everything just to make it easier. So there's long pegs, short pegs, and medium pegs. Go ahead and take a look at them real quick so I don't confuse them. There we go. Oh, I think these two are the same. Nope, that's a medium peg, it's a large peg. Line them up right there. So long, medium, small. And they're keyed, so they're not flopping around when you place them in. So how you want to go about it is, you attach the peg you're interested in, or the portal that you're interested in. Let's do the first three. And I'm just going to go for a flat display. Key goes on the bottom. So the wide end is on top, pointed side goes on the bottom. I hope you can see that. I'm going to go ahead and just peg that in. And since it's a flat display, I'm going to have it all stationary. I'll do some rotations with the bigger wheels. Since you need those to stick out to achieve the rotation effect. The first three, and you can see they're spaced out to account for the size of the ring. And press that in, press it in, and press it in. Since they're 3D printed, you're going to hear a ratcheting noise, at least FDM 3D printed. I haven't tried these on SLA. There we go. Give them a little jitter so they feel more, realistic. Right there. Bottom one. Let's do the big ones. So I use a longer peg for one of the bigger ones. It's just a slide-in port. That's it. It's actually easier if you port it into the portal first. Let's go with a 30-degree rotation. And then attach the portal to the ring. Now, these go all the way through. In case for whatever reason one slides in, you need to pop it out, you can just use like a screwdriver, a small screwdriver or toothpick or something to slide it out. But now you can add the rotation. Now, obviously you're not going to be able to push it all the way back because the portals are in the way, but that's fine. This is going to be a more extended display. Use another long one. So 20-degree rotation. You can see I'm not doing anything fancy, I'm just porting it in. There we go. It looks funny because these are even and these are just sporadic, so it gives it that weird asymmetry. Which is fine because the portals were always moving, like I said. And you can get crazy with it, adjust it around as much as possible. And honestly, it works better when you do large peg first, small peg, large peg, small peg. But just for the sake of the video, I just, going off the top of my head with whatever. There we go. Get through. Put it in, and there you go. A wacky portal. Now, for the stand adapter, this one has two rings. It's got the 3mm port in the middle, and it's got the surrounding larger port for the actual thick side of the fitness stand. I actually found that this is too heavy for the 3mm by itself. It will topple over. So you want to use the 3mm and this port to balance it all together. So if I just pop that in, it's a really snug fit. There we go. Still gotta balance it out because this is a lot of plastic for one stand. But as you can see, it's not flopping over. It holds. Just adjust real quick so you can see better. Right there. And obviously you can lower this because you don't want the portal to be 6 feet above the ground every time. Whoops. Popped it out. 6 feet, 6 inches off the ground every time. Always jumping down. There we go. It's as low as I can get this portal for now, but there we go. Got that one. Now I'm going to do the big one. This one's a bit more complicated because this is for the tunnel view. It's not necessarily a wall that you're building here. Let me go ahead and take this off real quick. I'm going to pop these all back in the bag because I don't want to lose any of these. I mean, I can print more, but I'd rather not. Especially since once I'm done recording with this video, I'm probably going to package this guy up and get it ready for sale. I'm not going to sell these to order. I'm just going to print a bunch of them out, and then once I run out of material, I'll stop, just sell the ones that I have ready to go, and just sell those off on my Mercari page. I don't have time to do order sales, so I'm just going to print out what I can and post it for sale, first come first serve. I mean, if you're interested and you really want me to print one out for you, just let me know in the comment section below and I'll still post one up on Mercari and I'll reserve it for you when it's ready to go. They're not going to be very expensive. I'm thinking maybe 15 bucks. So it's like around 20 something with tax and the So the fees that Mercari sells or charges, and the file itself, I'm probably gonna post for like $5 on Cults 3D because, I mean, if you want to make these yourself, you still gotta buy a printer. You gotta learn how to use the printer, unless you're gonna buy one like a Bamboo Labs or something, then it's ready to go right out the box. But the process itself, it's not difficult. It's the equipment required that is expensive. So I'll see what I do. It's not gonna be expensive at all. I really don't want to abuse this and, you know, rob people. I just want people to get cool Spider-Verse displays. I mean, it's been a long time coming. We haven't seen anybody make something like this yet, at least not for, you know, retail. Anyways, okay, so let's take a look at the tunnel adapter, I guess is what I call it. Now, this one has 7, I guess keyholes, you can call them, or portal adapters, because the original file is supposed to have 7 rings. But unfortunately, my printer was not big enough to print out the 7th ring. So I ended up just making them with 6 rings, and I'll see what's up in the future. If I get a bigger printer, I will definitely show off the 7th ring. If you buy the file, it will include the 7th ring. But if you buy a physically printed one for me at the time, or at least for the time being, it'll only have the 6 rings. But if I ever print out the 7th ring and you really, really need it, I'll work something out with you, and I'll see what we do about that if we cross that bridge. Anyways, in the meantime, before this video gets too long, now the tunnel adapter has multiple 3mm ports on it, and this is so you can balance it out with the stand, because once you have the tunnel built, it gets ridiculously heavy and it's really, really hard to balance. I mean, it's possible, but it's easier to just build yourself a little ramp and build your tunnel, and there you go. Let's say you don't want to build your tunnel, all right? You want something a little more compact. Well, you can also, and this is the nice thing about Figma stands, you can do something like that, and you're good to go. And that's also kind of why I kept this design for the 6 rings, because the 7th port works as almost like a stabilizer. Okay, now this adapter comes with these keys, and included comes 12 keys. You get 3 large keys. Show those off a little better. You get 3 large keys. Same as the small pegs, you get 3 medium keys. And you get 6 small keys. Let's see if I can show off the keys all together. There we go. Now I'm going to use only small keys. For now. Oh, give me a second. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I was missing a key. So 6 keys. Now, attaching the keys, you just kind of want to wedge them in and push them down. You don't need to push them down all the way. Over time, the friction will loosen up, so it'll pop all the way down. For the time being, you want to have that up and down play to help you, you know, add wobble to the portals. Because again, the rings are always moving. There's not an exact way they need to look. The variety, you know, helps out. Also, the friction helps really well to hold them in place. Again, since it's 3D printed, the plastic itself will wear out over time. So that friction is actually very useful. Pop that out real quick. So let's do the same thing. We'll go ahead, pop the rings on. Now this one you have to do individually because you'd have to work on the spacing. So real quick. In tunnel mode, at least in tunnel portal, it's a pretty big display. I forgot to bring out the ruler. Shame, shame, shame. Should have brought my tape measure so we can see the distances. You know, I'll measure it a couple times. I'll reassemble the portals. And let's mix it up. Let's make a nice mixed tunnel. Oh, I forgot. I think it's actually easier going from big ring to small ring, at least for the first 3. Rotation. This is 30% rotation. And this is neutral. There we go. See, got yourself the basis of a portal tunnel right there. Again, you don't have to display it with the rotation. You can do all neutral if you want, but it doesn't look as fun. Oh, look at that. And here's another interesting thing about the 3D printed piece. The tolerance is never the same. You saw that? It just poured it in and it just whoop. Well, see? One side locks. Okay. So it locks sometimes, it doesn't lock other time. What can you do? And you don't have to worry about it, you just have to use a different key. Some keys have better tolerances than others, see? It's just the inconsistency when it comes to 3D printing. Every piece is going to have slight differences, but there's enough parts included that you can make it work for you however you need it to. Here we go. Bigger ring. And you can see how I'm just keying it in. Slight press. Do this. I'm gonna do it on camera. I just wanted to adjust my fingering, my grip. That's what I meant to say. Oh, another loose one. Loose one. Very loose. Which is weird because I used the Figma stand and it held really well, but for whatever reason, this key is super loose. So I'm just gonna swap out. Try this one real quick. It helps to have the tighter keys on the bigger portals because they have the most weight. There we go, see? Oh, nope. Yeah, on the small portal it pegs in nice. Let's take this one. And I probably should have played with the tolerances before I used them. Put the tighter one on the heavier one. See, that's just the way it is, unfortunately. And I have yet to dial in my printer settings, so each ring and each peg hole has the tolerances that work every time. There's just no way I can dial it in that well yet. I'm pretty sure I could get it if I printed out each ring individually, but that would take a really long time. Because as is, this entire set takes me about 14 hours to print, which is why I don't do print by order, print to order, because it would take me about a day to make one portal. There we go. There's the tunnel view. Now, I did include these long keys so you can have variations in the portal. You might want these rings pushed forward some more. You want the tunnel rings to stick out more. And I'll show off in the pictures the best way I can explain the long keys is if you wanted characters to stand in between. Because what's the point of having a portal if you're not going to have like a character standing in between here? And look at this, really loose. I wonder if it's just this spring. That's the issue. Let me go ahead and peg around some of these larger ones. No, it must be this portal. Because none of these are keying in properly. I have to do some tweaking to this ring so it doesn't flop around. Let's see, medium key. No, it seems like these medium keys are too loose as well. Oh, there we go. That's so weird. Anyways. There we go. Not a lot of space, but you can probably fudge it around. Put someone in there, in between there. You can definitely put another stand in the middle and have a character look like he's jumping through the portal. You can definitely do that. There's plenty of space in between them, so you'll be able to play around with it, modify it as needed. One thing I did do on my personal portal, since it was like the first prototype I made, the tolerance was really loose. I ended up using nail polish on a bunch of my keys so it would hold on no matter what. You can definitely do that too if you needed to, but try every key on the big rings, get the right tolerance, and then use that. Use the looser tolerances for the lighter keys, for the lighter rings. At least, well, if you purchase one of mine, because I can't guarantee what's going to be tight and what's going to be loose. There's just way too many variables that I cannot control. But as you can see, it works. And now when I print it out, it's basically the same thing. Some keys are tighter than others, and it's never the same way I print it out. It could be a medium key, a large key, for whatever reason. To my knowledge, I thought all of these were super tight, and I thought a lot of my smaller ones were super loose, which is why I had all the long keys connected to the stand adapter at the beginning of the video, because those were the tighter ones. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, the magic of 3D printing, guys. So, yeah, there you go. Take a look. I am going to start my picture slideshow here so you can see what you can do with this and what it looks like with the light behind it. I'm going to let me see. I think I have a light somewhere I can use. I got a light I can use. Let me try it real quick. Okay. So I'm going to keep it in tunnel view because I like the tunnel view. It's nice. Especially when you get a light behind it. And it doesn't have to be a very powerful light either. Oops, knocking out the camera. It doesn't have to be a very powerful light. It's a cell phone light. I guess it does have to be a very powerful light. What the heck? This just worked. I wonder if my batteries are dying. Maybe it's because I have, let me see. No, it's this light's batteries are dying. It's too weak. I've used this one before. Oh well. What other lights do I have? Let me see what this one. I got one of these LED. guess it just doesn't want to work with me today. Oh, I'll have to take a look at my... I have to play around with it. But I was able to... Maybe it is... Let me see. Without these lights on. Shut off my studio lights. That's a little better. Not so much reflections coming from the front. And now I'm moving it. And I knock it down, of course. I don't know how well that's coming across on camera, but I have to mess around with it. I was able to get the rings lit up properly. I don't remember what I did exactly, but I have to work around with it. I forgot what I did. Oh, there we go. You should have shut off the last studio light and just use the room lights. Yeah, now it's coming through. Maybe it's just that I had too many lights. Maybe it's because when the light's in front, the front's too glossy. Ah, that's what it is. The front of the rings is too glossy. There they are. You can see the infill pattern giving it that techie look. Well, that's another thing I'm gonna have to play with. Maybe if I used a much more cleaner plastic. This plastic, for whatever reason, finished off too rough. I'll have to experiment with that too. I am planning on experimenting with glow-in-the-dark rings. So I wonder how that's going to work out. But for the time being, this works pretty well with a nice light above it. Actually, I think the edges let light pass through better than the front and the back. Because when I put it behind, they don't look too clear. Well, your lighting will probably be better than mine. I'll post a ton of pictures of the possibilities. Because I was messing around with these, and for whatever reason, this one just doesn't want to cooperate as well as my original one. I'll post a ton of pictures. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. You guys have any suggestions, or you guys want to give it a try, definitely let me know. Like I said, links will be in the description for how to get one of these. If you know how to use 3D design software, it's not that hard. Again, it's a couple of hexagons with portholes ported through them. It's just a lot of measuring, playing with tolerances and scaling. Let me measure off the big ring, and we'll go based off of that one real quick, because the small ones. Turn my lights back on. There we go. I'll put a few figures in just for scaling purposes. Here's Video Game Miles. Here's Toby Spider-Man. Oh. My fans are knocking it down. Here's Gwen. I don't have my Miguel on hand. I have to find that real quick. I use a bunch of pictures with Miguel. He was my SH Figure Arts Miguel O'Hara. He was my main scaling tool. Him and the Marvel Legends Miles. Spider-Verse Miles. So from point to point, we're looking at about 7.5 inches, 8.5 centimeters, I'm sorry. And then from flat end to flat end, looking at 6.5 centimeters and about 6.75 inches, roughly. Yeah, at least if you print out my file without modifications, that's sort of what you're looking at. I mean, if you modify it, by all means, just remember you want to keep your portholes to be compatible with your Figma stand and or what other custom stand you're going to use for it. Yeah, anyways, stay tuned. Anything, let me know. Suggestions, what kind of printer you use. I used an Ender 3, the first Ender 3, to print these out, and it is by no means a good printer. It's just the one I've had for the longest, the one I've used to learn, and I think it's reaching its last legs. With the amount of prints that I made with that printer, it's basically just telling me, I'm tired, boss, at this point. So I will be getting a new printer soon, hopefully something big enough to print out the 7 rings and, get all of these to a point where it's just like, hey, every time I print it out, 100% works, no tolerance issues, no rough plastic look or anything like that. I mean, there's only so much you can do with 3D printing. You can dial it in and get some really nice looking prints, but there's always going to be one issue or another. That's just the way the game works, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately, but that's just how the game works. I mean, I do want to try printing these out with an SLA printer, just so I can see what they look like, extremely smooth and or clear. That'll be definitely interesting to see. So I will be experimenting with that. And when I do manage to print out a crystal clear spider portal, I'll definitely update you guys. Anyways, this video has become much longer than I expected, but thanks for checking out my Spider-Verse portal displays. Again, if you're interested, I will have links in the description to my Mercari store, where I will occasionally post a few for sale. And again, they're going to be very cheap, nothing ridiculous. Figma stand will be included while supplies last. And then the file itself will also be posted on Cults 3D. Again, nothing very expensive, just something as a small kickback to help me out at the time being. But yeah, thanks for watching, you guys. This is Mark70. Have a good one, guys.